Y'all come on in and join me because I'm fixing to make probably, it's one of the top 3 cakes that I make. And everybody has made one, I'm sure, one time in their life. And that's a carrot cake. And this recipe was given to me by my grandmother Hiers, my daddy's mama. And I just thought her recipe was the best of all. So, and it's so simple. I pulled out a mixer, but you know, I really don't have to have one. And in my cookbook, I was just reading the instructions. And this is just the way Grandma gave it to me. She said bake for 40 minutes. I think that's too long. I've never baked these for 40 minutes. So I'm gonna start with 2 cups of sugar. I'm gonna add 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Now, all I want to do for that is just kind of whisk it together. It's almost like sifting, you know, when you use this whisker. Not a whisker up here, but this. Am I saying that right? A whisker? It's a whisker. It's a whisker, yeah. It just sounds funny because I think about them little black hairs that's coming out on my chin now. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Where them ugly things come from, I don't know. All right, so now I'm gonna add my eggs. And that's 4 eggs. Let's see what else I wanna add. I wanna add 1½ cups of vegetable oil. And this is what makes that carrot cake so good. In fact, if you're baking a cake that calls for oil, you know that sucker is gonna be good and it's gonna be moist. All right, I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. That's maybe 1½. My vanilla is so good, y'all. This is a pure extract. Let's see, ingredients. Madagascar bourbon vanilla bean. That's it. Yum-y. All right, so I'm gonna stir that in. And then I'm gonna stir in my carrots. And that's 3 cups. If you got nothing but whole carrots and you got a food processor, you can chop them up good in that. If you got babies in the house and you've got baby carrot food, I've made it with 2 jars of baby carrots, and that's good too. But I just like seeing being able to see the carrots. All right, now, so we got to decide at this point, where do we want our nuts? Do I want to put nuts in the cake and then make the cream cheese icing without nuts? Or do both? You know, it's like my vanilla extract. You can't have too much nuts. So, now Grandma always used pecans, but I have just gotten where I adore the flavor of walnuts. So, that's what I'm stirring in. Okay, so I'm gonna wait and decide how I wanna do the nut stuff later.
But you're putting raisins in, right?
Oh, I forgot my raisins.
I was like,
That's the only, thank you, Eddie. This is the only change I made in my grandmother's recipe is I add raisins. And Teresa, I just told her at the last second, so she didn't have any measured up. And I just put it till I like the looks of it.
I think that makes the cake.
Oh, I do too, to bite into those soft raisins. Oh my gracious. It's like an oatmeal cookie. An oatmeal cookie to me is not an oatmeal cookie without raisins. So I had a good bit, y'all. I probably had a half a cup. About a half a cup of raisins. Or more. But that's the only change I made in her cake. And if you want to plump them up, you could always have your raisins sitting in some warm or hot water, and they plump them up. Whatever falls out, okay. That's it. That looks perfect. All right, now y'all know how I measure out my batter, because I really do like for my cakes to all be the same size, and I'm the same way about when I'm making cookies. Your cookies do so much better if they're all the same size, if you use like 1 scoop for all of them. You know, maybe like a miniature butter scooper. Something like that. It's just important though that they're all the same size so that they'll cook in the same time and be the same size. All right, I'm gonna put this in a 350 degree preheated oven, but I'm gonna start checking it after like 25 or 30 minutes. I just don't think we need 40. So to me, there's not a more appropriate cake for Easter than a carrot cake, right? Right, Teresa, and everybody out there?
Absolutely.
And you know, you could actually make this in cupcakes and keep your icing smooth with no nuts, and make a little carrot. A little picture of a bunny on top. So there's lots of things you can do.
Those cakes turned out perfect.
Yes, they are perfect. Do you see now why I'm a fanatic about measuring my batter out just right? So in my bowl, y'all, I've got 1 stick of softened butter, and I've got 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese that has softened. So I've still been debating. I told y'all I was going to debate about how I did my icing. So I think a couple of teaspoons of vanilla. So I think I'm just gonna keep this without nuts and then sprinkle nuts on top. That way people, if they didn't want nuts, too bad, because there's nuts inside that cake too. But if they didn't want extra nuts, they could kind of just scrape them off. So Grandma's recipe actually just called for 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese, but you know, I can't stand to be short on my icing. I'd rather have too much than not enough. And then your layers are so skimpy with your icing, it drives me crazy. In fact, Olivia told me yesterday we were playing, and she said, "Kenny, you're so crazy."
Well, she's got your number.
Yes. Yes, I mean, I can get down with them and act like I'm 3.5 too.
That's what grandmothers are, that's what guineas are supposed to do.
That's what they're supposed to do. Get down and dirty and silly. All right, so it calls for a 1 pound package of cream cheese, and this was a 2-pound bag, and it looked like half of it had been used. So I may have to grab a little bit more powdered sugar. Come on. Come on. Yeah, Olivia couldn't have given me a better compliment than laughing and saying, Kenny, you're so crazy. Okay, I'm gonna, why they make these cords like they do is beyond me. All right, I'm gonna get a little bit more powdered sugar because a 1 pound bag of powdered sugar equals about 3.5 cups of powdered sugar. So I don't know if we had quite 3.5 cups, but it can easily stand some more because I've got the I got 1 pound of cream cheese in there, and that's what I got. Now if I can just see why don't we put these on? Oh my gosh, it always makes such a difference when you can see. Look at that. All right, that is most assuredly now 3.5 cups, maybe 4. I think that's like perfect. Perfect. So good. So very, very good. All right, let's see, what do I need? I like to do, my icing. I can't, for some reason, I just can't use one of those offset spatulas. It messes me up. And I just do just like my mama did. She would use a spoon and a knife. And I do the same thing. Now, if I were gonna put nuts around the side of this cake, y'all, I would make sure I had some wax paper so I could put the nuts on the side and then just slide the pieces of wax paper out so it would keep my cake plate clean. But since I'm not going to do it that way, it's just an extra step I don't have to do. Yeah. Poor Michael's trying to diet. So I've got him strawberry salad and carrots and then the carrot cake. It's terrible, isn't it? I think, like I said, I don't like to skip on the in-betweens. All right. So layer number 2. Okay, so I'm just gonna slip just regular toothpicks in, and you got to push them down enough so that they will go into the next layer. All right, I'm gonna have to move now to a taller toothpick. A regular toothpick won't go through all the layers.
So that's like a skewer.
Yes, this is a skewer. Okay. Uh-oh. Too tall. You want to make sure you don't get any wood shavings. Perfect. Okay. Okie dokie. Now I put my frosting on top of my cake, and then I go around and bring it down. I think she's done. All right, now I always like to make sure that my plate is clean. And I have to say, it spreads on your cake so much smoother if you don't have the nuts in your icing. Oops, a nut fell in the side. Don't want a nut in the side.
Uh-oh, there might be a nut on this side too.
Uh-oh, I'll get him. My pleasure.
Would hate for you to miss that.
Yes. Oh, this is so pretty. See how Eastery that looks? All right. Do you think we should cut it now, or do you think we should wait?
So when have you ever waited?
Come on. Come on. Come on. Wow. 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 Now, normally I don't cut my cakes in wedges. I feel like you can get more by cutting it down the center and then slicing it, each piece, like that. And I can get a lot more pieces out of it.
Look how good that looks.
Wow. Grandmama, you're an angel. And thank you for having my daddy for me. Because I loved him, my mother, and my brother so very much. And without you, Grandmother Hiers, it wouldn't happen. So thank you. Love and best dishes and happy Easter. Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.